from behind. Kinoshida's expression froze as the lightning wrapped around his collar. Before anyone could react, Itsuki pulled Kinoshita off his feet and slammed him into the ground with overwhelming force. And before Iberia could understand anything, Itsuki threw him toward the blue barrier. Both Iberia and Kinoshita landed on the ground. Shock filled their faces as they didn't understand what had just happened. In front of Kinoshita, Itsuki stepped forward and said it seemed he hadn't been clear. Then he corrected himself and told Kinoshita and his men that until everything was settled, no one was going anywhere. His cold gaze made everyone freeze where they stood. Inside the internal area, Saya dropped to her knees, breathing heavily. A screen beside her showed her result. Internal area arrival rank 4th place. She complained that the guys wearing red ribbons had all teamed up and obstructed them again. Beside her, Rikaru lay on the ground, catching his breath. His own screen showed internal area arrival rank 5th place. He said that if they had acted separately, they might have fallen before reaching the area. Rikaru looked up, shocked, saying he thought they were pretty fast. But now he realized there were people even faster. A huge man holding a large hammer stood nearby. He was Ubo Gale, who ranked in 3rd place. He clicked his tongue, annoyed that he only placed 3rd. At his feet, a cat-eared girl stretched lazily. She was Akagami Shion in 2nd place. There was a cat on her back that yawned. Akagami Shion told her she had just eaten and was already hungry again. Then the two looked toward another girl across the room. She was Hanyu Kana in 1st place. She sat calmly on the ground, a cloak draped around her. They whispered that she was already level 16. Looking at all of them, Saya thought about Itsuki. She said he would definitely act alone, and if he was obstructed like they were. But suddenly Rikuru pointed upward, panicked, saying someone was flying toward them. She slowly lifted her head, eyes widening as she looked up at the sky. A man was thrown across the ground, landing hard as the notice showed, internal area arrival rank 6th place. That was Iberia, who pushed himself up and shouted desperately, calling out Itsuki's name. Saya and Rikuru both heard it. Rikuru stared in surprise and asked if that boy had really said Itsuki. Saya looked over and confirmed that she heard the same thing. As they looked out into the arena, they saw a silhouette standing in the rain. Saya recognized the posture and muttered that there was no doubt. They realized the truth, it was Utsuki. The scene then shifted to Itsuki himself. He stood firm under the falling rain, and repeated his earlier words that until they settled this, he wasn't letting anyone go anywhere. From inside the control room, Instructor Soria watched the scene unfold. He noted that the rookie was only 1 step away from entering the internal area. He wondered why he was so focused on Kinoshita Reiji. Choha watched Itsuki with a worried expression. Sweat slid down her cheek as she looked toward the scene in front of her. Instructor Soria then turned to Instructor Haiten beside him and told him calmly to help Itsuki if things became dangerous. But Instructor Haiten's eyes widened slightly as he looked at Itsuki. He muttered the name Tenma Itsuki, remembering how, just moments earlier, Itsuki had moved with incredible speed. He admitted to himself that he wasn't sure he could have done something like that at the same age. Far away, under the rain, Kinoshita was furious. He spoke with frustration, saying that Itsuki kept interfering again and again, so he warned Itsuki to prepare himself. He lifted his gaze, and his voice grew heavier. He said that what was about to begin wasn't just a battle, it was complete subjugation. Across the field, a huge group of fighters stepped forward through the rain. Their eyes glowed red as they surrounded Itsuki. Kinoshita's voice explained what it meant, a 100-on-1 group attack. The moment rain slid down his face, Itsuki's eyes narrowed with cold determination. Passing the preliminaries didn't matter anymore. Right now, his top priority was avenging Choka. Across the field, Kinoshita screamed with bloodshot eyes. He pointed forward and yelled for everyone to kill Itsuki. In an instant, dozens of fighters charged toward him, lightning and flames clashing as the battlefield erupted into chaos. One man, covered in blazing fire, rushed ahead of the others. He shouted that nobody was allowed to get ahead of him and claimed Itsuki's head as his own. Flames wrapped around his arms as he used his C-rank skill, Fire Punch, and lunged straight at Itsuki, but Itsuki didn't move. He simply raised his arm and grabbed the fiery fist with his bare hand. The fire user froze, shocked. In the next second, Itsuki swung his fist and punched him in the face. He slammed him into the ground with overwhelming force, ending the attack in a single motion, the impact cracking the floor around him. The others watching were shocked. One of them shouted in disbelief that their companion had been knocked out with just a single punch. Another quickly tried to calm everyone, saying they had many people on their side and there was no way they would lose to someone who was still level 0. More voices joined in, urging everyone to attack together. Itsuki stood calmly as they prepared to charge. He muttered the word "perfect" as a system window appeared in front of him. It stated that he had blocked a C-rank fire skill using Black Wall, and his defense had increased by 10%. Itsuki then raised his clawed arm, flames swirling around him. He declared that he would end this farce quickly. The fiery lotus in his hand glowed brighter as the system announced, "Lotus Burst." Activated, the flames wrapped around his whole body, spinning wildly, and then Suki clapped. A massive explosion erupted. The fire burst outward like a wave, blasting everyone off their feet and sending bodies flying across the arena. The dust settled, and everyone stared at the ruined ground. Rikuru trembled as he looked at the destruction. He asked in shock if this overwhelming attack was really Itsuki's skill. Behind him, Saya covered her mouth, unable to speak. Gaku rushed over, asking what had just happened. Beside him, Shion calmly stroked her small cat, saying that Michan should be able to swallow an explosion of this size without any problem, speaking as if the blast meant nothing. Not far away, Kana sat silently with her sword, her expression unreadable as sparks drifted through the air. From inside the control room, Instructor Soria stared at the screen in disbelief. He shouted that the explosion had been caused by a level 0. He couldn't understand how someone with such a low rank could use so much power. What